Sorry about that. Oh, there we go. It'll work somehow. Hey, so, to all my subscribers, I already mentioned anybody who watched this video. First of all, I want to apologize about the background noises, to include but not limited to the wind and the music. I apologize about that. And the traffic. There's a few topics I want to hit. Number one, if you see a weird video, if anybody uses Facebook, please, if you see a video that populates into your messengers, do not open the website. It's a hacking technique. I just had a close friend of mine had an issue with it. Do not open the video. It is a hacker trying to get into your phone. Because it happened to me. It's happened to a few of my friends that they're sending videos to people, but it's not true. They didn't send it. The hacker is trying to get into your phone, trying to mess with your phone. If you do see that come into your phone, or you see a weird video that you sent to somebody, report it. Two things. One, as I said, report it. Second, take your phone to the closest Apple store, AT&T store. The reason I say they need to open up your motherboard, and they have to reconfigure your motherboard. Like, gotta take that virus out of there, because if you don't, that's gonna be a major issue. Also, do not order anything through Facebook. If you want to order something, order it through the actual app or a trusted website. Because people have done that. They've ordered something on a Facebook website. And that's how they got hacked. Because what happens is that's the way the hackers plant a bug in your phone, and that's how they can hack your phone. It's happened to me before. I noticed it early, and I got it taken care of. Topic number 2, and this, something else. Wedding planning. I'm a wedding planner / photographer. Okay, meaning that I do wedding planning, from beginning to end. I'm talking food, receptions, the whole reception itself. I'll even hire a cake designer. I got a very, very close friend who does cakes. She's actually working on 3 different cakes right now for me. One technically, she's working on mine. Because I hired 2 different people to do, another family member to do 2 other cakes for me. I knew this in high school. Also, so the photography part that I do the before the wedding, during the wedding, and after. The after part meaning that, I'll take wedding, pictures of the, maids of honor, both sides, whatever you call them. I can't remember off the top of my head. I might have to break part on that. But if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. I also take shots of the photos of the after the wedding. I'll take pictures of the bride and groom, the bride with her parents, the groom with his parents. Then I'll also take pictures of both of the parents together. Then I'll take a photo shoot of both the bride and groom and their parents. Then, during it's kind of self-explanatory. Before pictures, if they decide to do before photos, of like the setup for for the kind of like a wedding memory book. I'll even do that. That depends on personal preference, though. That's if you wanted to do that. If you wanted to do photos before shots of like the bride's bouquet of flowers, the pretty much anything that you wanted done before the wedding. I'll also take the 4 pictures that I do also is that they're like I'll have the father and daughter standing at the end of the aisle as before they walk down the aisle, and I'll take a few shots of that even because it kind of I'll even do videos. I'll have a camera set up that will record the whole entire wedding ceremony if that the client wants that. Because I've actually done one wedding that the bride and groom both wanted that done. That up there charged by $1,500. That was money that they were willing to spend though, so we really didn't have a problem with that. They agreed to it. I told them I was like, hey, it's gonna cost you an extra $1,500. They're like, we don't mind. As I said, that depends on the client preference. I do recommend it because it's a beautiful thing to do. Because you're getting the photos of before the bride marries the groom, and I'll even do pictures of the groom actually at the altar. Before even the wedding starts, I'll have the groom stand. The brides line up, the all of her friends, and the groom line up as well. I'll even do one with where the groom is standing at the altar with the person that is going to be conducting the ceremony, and it's a beautiful picture. I'll even do it with the bride. I'll take the groom out of the picture, still the same lineup with the guy, the person doing the wedding at in the center, the bride offset to hit the pastor's left. No, the pastor's right. The bride's left if she's facing the pastor. And she'll be counter center. She'll be turned in. So where you see my ruby, my big old wedding, this one right here, that's the back of the bride. Okay, I'll have her center just. Oh wait, here's the front side of the bride. She'll be countered just like that. So she's looking. She's got the pastor in the corner of her left eye, and vice versa with the groom. He'll have the pastor in his corner of his right eye. He can see it, or her, who depends on who's doing the wedding. Who's ever doing the photo shoot, whatever. After shots, I'll also do pictures of the father-daughter dance. I'll also do pictures of the bride and groom, the newlyweds dancing, the bride and groom dance. Different people call the husband-wife dance by different terms. I call it the newlyweds dance because it's our first dance as a married couple. And that is one thing I like to record, and I do that to no extra charge, mainly because it is a beautiful. I'll do both, and mainly because it's a beautiful dance. It symbolizes, the connection between the families. I'll even take pictures of cakes or what, depending on what the client wants. I'll do pictures, depending on the client. Every client is different, okay? So, not every 2 weddings is going to be exactly the same. So they might seem the same, but they're going to be a lot different. A lot of people try to say the same similarity. Like the private weddings that I'm doing, my 2 friends that I'm planning for, they're following I don't know why, they're following my technique, and I do not know why. I think it's because they want to keep it simple, because my wedding is a very, very simple wedding. It's easy. But I just gotta, so their weddings are going to be bigger than mine. So I'm keeping the same, format. I'm doing it just for a bigger group of people. And I do what's called a budget wedding, meaning, I give them a budget, and if they want to do a bigger budget, I will. So my price range is anywhere from $15,000 to $25,000. But if we have to go higher, if you want to go higher than $25,000, I recommend you not going over 30 grand. If you have to, I will do it, but I would not recommend it because it's harder to do. Um, it's really complicated. And as I said, that I do receptions as well, meaning I do the food lineup, the cake, I do the table designs, and what I recommend, if you want me to do your wedding, give me at least 6 to 12 months notice in advance. Like, if let's say you get engaged in, let's say you get married in November, okay? Or you get engaged in November, and you want your wedding, I would recommend, let's say you want to do your wedding, you get engaged in November, I would recommend you let me know the day or day after, within a week of your engagement, let me know, so that I can get started working on a wedding date. It gives, like, I'll recommend that you do your wedding 6 months after you get engaged. No minimum of 6 months after the engagement, because that will give me time to plan the wedding. People think that, oh, planning a wedding should take no less than 3 months. No. If you have a wedding in less than 3 months after your engagement, it's going to be messed up, because it's going to be harder for the planner. It's going to be harder. You're going to be rushing me, and I don't like to rush especially when it comes to weddings. Mainly because weddings, they're the biggest day in a person's life is when they get married. That's one of the most memorable things of a person. Oh snap! I can't control what I'm going for. Nope, that ain't gonna work. Okay. That is one of the biggest landmarks in a person's life is when they get married. It's a sign that a person is going to commit to being married. They're going to commit to, to the other person. Say, hey, I will, always be here for you through anything and everything that comes our way. I'll be there with you. Because as I say, a minimum of 6 months after the engagement, because it gives me time to plan the wedding. It gives me time to make sure that I got the if we do decide to do catering, it gives me time to get the catering lineup done. And if you do catering, let's say you do a half catering and half cook, it gives me time to get the catering lineup done, and it'll give me time to kind of talk with both the bride and the groom on a one-on-one basis. And I do that. I talk to the bride and groom separately on more than one occasion. Say, hey, what do you want to do for food? What do you want to do for drinks? And that's why I say not two marriages are the same. Plannings are the same. Because every person is going to have a different food lineup. So, like, my 3 weddings that I'm doing, they're all the same food. Because it's simple, easy, not that complicated. Like, you might find 2 people that are getting married, they want barbecue at their wedding. Okay? You find another one, they might want to do something completely different. Okay? And that's why I say two weddings are not the same. So you have to keep that in mind. And I don't recommend the month before the wedding. That's when I'm going to start making sure everything's set in stone. So once the month before the wedding comes around, the last 30 days before the wedding, I recommend that you don't tell me that you want to. Excuse me, I have to burp. So I recommend that you don't change anything on the food. Unless it's like a minor detail that you want to change, I wouldn't go changing stuff right off like all of a sudden. Oh, I want to change this, like 10 different things, because that's just gonna screw everything up. Not everything, but it's gonna make things complicated. And I also help with the wedding invitations, the thank you cards. What are we gonna do with the presents? Where do you want them at? I also help with the sorry about that, my phone just went off. I also help with the like where the reception is going to be. I would recommend that if you're doing a summer wedding, I would recommend it being the same place as the wedding. if you're doing like a fall through spring wedding, you could do it out the wedding outside. I like doing fall weddings. Spring weddings are just beautiful, especially winter weddings. They're beautiful because you could do it outside because the weather is tolerable at that time. You could do the reception in one place, the wedding in one area, and you could do the reception in a completely different area, as long as it's not too hot. Um, so that's one of the things that you got to keep in mind is that if you're doing a summer wedding with me, I don't recommend that you do it outside because if you're gonna have families, like full-fledged families, they're like kids, they're gonna get grimy within 30 minutes of the wedding. So that's why I don't recommend that we in the summer months, don't do an outside wedding because it's way too hot. I mean, it's not completely hot, but down here in Texas, they can get hot real quick, and you're gonna have kids complaining about the weather, this, that, and the third. Um, and I just don't do civilian weddings. I will do military weddings as well if need be. Though I've never done a military wedding, I've only done civilian weddings. But that is a challenge that I'm willing to take on if the time comes that like, hey, I got a military friend of mine who's getting married, yada yada yada. I will do that. I don't mind. It's just going to be a little bit more difficult because it's a military wedding, so details have to be a little different between that a military wedding and that of a civilian wedding. Because military weddings, I'm for our service, so trust me, we got to be detailed with that shit. It's very it can get complicated in some areas. But that's a challenge that I will take. I don't mind doing it. I love doing weddings. And that's for if anybody knows anybody that's getting married or you're getting married. Put it in the comments below and say, hey, I know somebody that's getting married, dude. Can you help me out here? Can you do a wedding for us? And what I'll also do is I'll sit down with both the bride and the groom. There'll be more than one. I'll sit down with the bride and groom like every week. Say, hey, here's what I got. Here's what I'm going to do the next week. Or depending on how they want to do it. Say, hey, I'll even sit down with the parents, get their opinion because I like doing that. I like getting multiple opinions on the wedding. Then I'll sit both the families down all together. Say, hey, here's what we're thinking. Does anybody have different opinions? Do you want to do something different? Yada yada yada. So keep that in mind as well. That I do sit down with the bride's parents and the groom's parents on multiple occasions. Say, hey, here's what we got. Do you want to change anything? Do you think we need to elaborate on some things? Yeah, pretty much, yeah. um, the and I do it all by myself. I'm one of those guys that I'm really OCD. So you really got nothing to fear because if if you hire me to do your wedding, and pretty much your wedding, I'm OCD, so trust me that it will actually come in very, very handy. And the reason I say that is because is that every I it can even be 1/4 can be out of alignment, and I will notice. So everything with me will be spot on right. Everything will be placed right. The everything will be perfect. Um, and usually when I do another thing I want to hit is that budgeting the payments. Usually depending on it depends on opinions. So I usually try to how do I say this? How do I say this right? Without sounding like a complete jerk. Um, like if I ask both the bride and the groom if they want to, I usually do a payment plan for a certain amount of months. So let's say I had a $20,000 wedding that I had to do. Okay, that will be a 24-month payment plan. Let's say you came to me and say, hey, I have this wedding I need to do. I got a $20,000 budget. well work with you, because I'm telling you right now, I will charge you, because do not try to mess with me, because I have a set. I will not go under $15,000, because when you're doing weddings, that's that stuff is complicated, because you gotta realize that I'm gonna be hiring people, especially if you do catering. I'm gonna be hiring people. I'm just gonna be doing a lot of stuff that it's gonna be pulling money out of my rear end. So that's why you will never see me going under $15,000. Um, and yeah, I know I sound expensive, but I've met guys that do, will charge like 15, 75, 80,000 G, 80 G's on, 80K on a wedding. I'm like, that's too much. So I try to keep the budgeting small, because it just makes it simpler. Um, so I would set, if you had a $20,000 budget, let's say you had a $20,000 budget. I would set up a certain payment plan for 24 months, so that you're not completely screwing yourself over trying to pay for them, because I don't like charging the family immediately after the wedding. It's just, and I will write up a contract. I'll get it notified. We'll go to the bank and notarize it and everything else. It'll be an agreement saying, hey, I have agreed to pay $20,000 over a 24-month period. Whatever else contracts we'll have to have. Every contract's different, because every two weddings, you could do a $18,500 wedding. So that's why I say with that, the contract would be different for that one. So yeah, if you have any questions about that, are you as I said earlier, if you know somebody, or you're getting married, or you know somebody that's getting married, let me know. And send this message, send this share this video with your friends, because they might know somebody that's getting married, yada yada yada. I know I said yada 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 a lot, but that's just me. I don't know what I said. I say bloody what a lot too. I don't know why. It's kind of vulgar, but I try to limit how much I say that too. I know this wedding, I'm being serious right now. You've got to be serious with this type of topic, because I take wedding planning very, very seriously. Yeah, share this video with all your friends. Let them know that I'm a wedding planner. I'm a private wedding planner. Meaning I do the wedding planning myself. I personally hire people depending on if we need to hire people out. I need to hire people out to help with the wedding, if and when that time does arise. So yeah, questions, comments, concerns, put them down below. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and have a great night. Have a great rest of the year. I send my blessings, my great wishes to all y'all from the state of Texas. Where the stars are big and the night sky is beautiful. God bless y'all for the state of Texas, and thank you in advance for anybody that's going to say thank you for your service. Thank you for your support. It means a lot to us, service members and veterans, that you are 100% behind us, because that's a very, very hard thing to do. And have a great rest of your night.